Welcome to Remelations. We're your hosts. I'm Mindy.
And I'm Brooke.
Remelations is a dream interpretation podcast where we read listeners' dreams. From the nightmares to the just plain bizarre, join us as we give you our comedic interpretation of your fucked up REM cycle.
Today we're reading dreams about boardwalks, photo booths, and being in the friend zone.
Ouch. We're also reading dreams about 70s swinger parties, lots of celebrities, and a wave pool.
Fun. We're also talking about how much sleep do you really need and Guinness Book of World Record holders.
All right, bestie, let's get started.
Woo!
I know, I'm trying to think of something else to start a show with besides drinking because we do that a lot.
Oh, well, yeah, when don't we?
What a gorgeous day. Is it beautiful there?
Is that sarcasm? Because it's shitty here.
Is it?
Yeah.
No, it's beautiful here. It is like sunny and light breeze, and it's like 80 degrees out. We're like 3 hours away from each other, 2.5.
I know.
And there's that much change. What's it like there?
It's just super cloudy.
Oh, boo.
I know. It's all right. I'm not doing
warm
anything outside. I don't know. I haven't been outside. Are you crazy? No, I did. I did go out for lunch or brunch, but it was like literally from the car to the restaurant to the car. So
What's the questions? What did you have for brunch?
Oh, I had a quiche.
Oh, a quiche. Look at you, fancy pants.
A seasonal quiche.
Ooh.
It was really good.
Good. Yum. Well, we made it through our Dirty 30 episode. Barely.
It was
that was
so
a
much
lot
fun.
of fun. We had some good feedback. I think everyone enjoyed it. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. So then we can have our next dirty one at Filthy 50.
Filthy 50. Yeah. Sounds sexy 60. I mean, we can keep this going for a while.
We're keep going.
Raunchy. No, I can't think of one that.
Ooh, what?
There's no number that starts with R.
No, unfortunately.
Okay. Well, we'll work on that.
It's a sad state of affairs.
Right. I hear you have a dream to share today.
I do, and it's kind of a leftover from last week. I thought it'd be a nice little transitional piece for us.
Perfect.
Submitted just a little past I could record it, but I wanted to share it anyway. This is Gabby from Austin.
Woohoo. Thanks, Gabby.
And so we're keeping our sexy on a little bit for this one. All right. I have a reoccurring dream where I'm on a boardwalk and I'm with a guy friend and we go into a photo booth. All of a sudden, he went from the friend zone to getting pretty hot and heavy in the photo booth.
That's the place you're going to make your move?
I
the
guess.
Photo booth? I mean, you want to document it?
It's so close quartered. You kind of have to like cozy up to the person. Okay. So I don't know. Just make it out.
Shoot his shot.
We ripped each other's clothes off. And then my view of the dream was no longer from inside the photo booth. I'm now like on the outside of the booth, across the boardwalk, looking at the photo booth, which we all understand views change.
Yeah, that's interesting though.
But she still knew it was her inside the photo booth,
okay.
Even though she was like watching. That's what she said.
That is interesting how dreams, we've had a few people write in that how they can see themselves like as a third party to themselves.
Yeah, and that's usually how I dream too.
Yeah,
I'm watching it happen. But yeah, I know you're like completely different.
Yeah, I'm more first person, but it's cool.
I remember feeling like I was watching a movie because when the lights flashed, every time a pic was taken, I'd see like an arm or a leg or an article of clothing fall out of that little curtain.
An article, there's panties.
Just like a comical movie.
A bra. I could just
like
picture
someone's face comes out for a second and get pulled back in.
Get a breath of fresh air, go back in to make out some more. Okay.
So now I'm back inside the booth. So now she's back.
Okay.
And I'm ready. Very ready. Like going to lose my mind ready. And this is cute. She says to F him. But she spelled out F-E-F.
Oh, yeah, F him. Way to keep it PG.
Cute.
Yes,
this is a PG version. Thank you so much, Gabby. So she's ready to F him. And then I woke up. Ooh. Every time I have this dream, we never make it to the finish line, so to speak.
Quotes and finish line.
Very frustrating.
Ooh.
So that's it, Gabby.
Now, I'm curious. Now, did Gabby put anything else? Is this a person that she knows in real life, friend?
So many questions about that. And
so many questions.
I'm hoping she responds back to some of our questions.
We need some more details, Gabby, please.
I know, because I think it could change the whole point of the dream, the whole meaning of the dream, whether this person is real or just in the dream. But I don't know. I think it's, I don't know. Me personally, I feel like it's about someone, and that's like the issue. The dream is because like you're on the boardwalk. It's like fun. You're with your friends. I like totally get that. It's just a good time. You're young. You're playing games. And then there's a lot of people going on, but this dream like focused through all of that on just the two of them. So I feel like she's kind of really exploring this issue of this person in her life because of all that stuff going on. It was just the two of them.
I wish I lived closer to a boardwalk, don't you?
Oh, I know.
You guys are so
I mean, I don't want to live in New
coasts.
Jersey because I guess I shouldn't say I don't want to live in New Jersey, but those boardwalks are crazy.
They are crazy.
Like, I guess that's why you only go to them in the summer.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of what boardwalks I've ever been to. I've been to like Santa Monica Pier once.
Oh, yeah.
Which was lovely. I don't know that I've ever been to another one. Like, I guess it's a pier. It's not a boardwalk, but
still.
It counts.
I've been to the Atlantic City boardwalk, a major one, which is New Jersey, which is lovely. But again, it's not like an everyday type of thing. It's it's very touristy. I'm sure it drives the locals bananas. But the photo booth, I think, we have a lot of fun in photo booth.
For some reason, we love photo booths.
Kind of fun.
No, we have. We do have fun, Brooke, but not that kind of fun. You're right. Yeah.
But as long as we've known each other.
Yeah. When we were in high school, we used to go to our local mall and they had a photo booth. And what was it, like $1?
$1.
Which is probably expensive for us back then, but it was worth the memories.
But we would get like 10 pictures every time we went. So it got pretty expensive.
Yeah. And if there's ever a photo booth, wherever Brooke and I are, we are in without question. We don't even have to look at each other. We just go.
Or just somehow find each other in the photo booth.
And then someday when we get to our live shows, it's going to have a photo booth. It has to.
Oh,
it has to.
Yeah. And our photo booth didn't have like the little strips of pictures.
It was like a printed digital.
Like a printout on like an 8x10 sheet of paper.
Yes.
And you could pick like, do you want it to look like a sketch?
Or a calendar.
Or a charcoal drawing. Or just a regular picture. There was
like really old filters back
then. Like old
90s photo booth filters. Now you can just do it on Snapchat, but...
Right? But no,
back then
we didn't have that many options.
No. And it was black and white.
Yeah, black and white.
Now, Mark and I when we are shooting weddings, and sometimes our couples will have photo booths at the reception, we never hesitate. We also go in those as well because we're like, why not? So we have tons of photo booth photos of us.
And that's fun because you're always at like a fun time. You're in a good mood. You usually look pretty good. You're dressed up or something. So might as well capture that.
Go for it. Give us your best photo booth stories. Please send them in.
Yes.
Or tag us in pictures. That's fun too.
Yeah, we want to see it too. Yeah, absolutely. But the photo booth itself, I don't know. Again, I think if this dream is kind of like a real exam or an examination of like a real life situation, I think of the photo booth as kind of like taking pictures, like a chance to kind of step back and look at that moment in time. Like maybe not make your decision right away, but it's kind of like bringing receipts to the table, like proof that something's happening.
Sure.
So it's like you kind of keep these for later so you can make your decisions and look back on the situation. I'm not talking about
I mean, I think and even the fact that she was across the street taking it all in is another example of that. Like just taking the whole scene. I think that's so fascinating.
And I kind of talked about that later, like that point of view change, because it's like she's in the actual, like in the moment at first, and this going from like friends to sex, maybe this point of view change, like you said, reinforce this idea, almost like she has to step back and look at the situation. And then in the end, she decides to go for it. And she's back in the first person view inside the photo booth. So I agree with you.
But then never gets there at the end.
And what's that about?
And maybe it's about like, you don't know the future, right? So if there is a real life friend that she's considering starting a romantic relationship with, then maybe it's like, she doesn't know what the future is. How is it going to turn out? We don't know. It might be good. It seems leading up to it. It's very good.
Yeah.
But I mean, we don't know the future.
And I think that is a very scary thing, like for everyone to go from friends into a relationship. Mm-hmm. Now, don't get me wrong. I think the best relationships do start as friends, but a lot of times when you do cross over into the sexual relationship, it can ruin the friendship. It's just such a risk you have to take.
And sometimes the sexual tension is there from the beginning. You know what I mean? One person may be in a relationship, the other person may be, or it's not the right timing, but there's always that sexual tension, which is, I think.
You can't deny that because chemistry like that you have to pay attention to. Mm-hmm. But, and also like you're with a friend, like I think it's a great thing, but it's also really scary because people do lose each other over making that decision. Like it ruins friendship. So I think it's very scary, but maybe that's what this dream is telling her, like never really getting to the finish line, as she says. It's like, maybe he's better in the friend zone. I don't know. But I think it's a fun way to examine the situation, Gabby.
Absolutely. Yeah. Let us know the details. Please write in. Let us know if you know this guy or if it's a complete rando.
I would love to know.
I mean, rando photo booth sex sounds fun too.
I think photo booth sex in general sounds fun.
There's not a whole lot of room to move.
Logistically, it might not be great, but the idea of it sounds pretty kinky.
You got that or you got your old time, you know, those, the carnivals or fairs or even boardwalks, they have those old timey photos where they dress you up in the period clothes. You could do that sexy. Like just hike up your bloomers or hike down your bloomers.
Hike down your bloomers.
Right?
That corset pops right open.
Someone's still holding the bottle of Jack. Someone else has got like a fan.
A rifle.
Yes, of course. So if you have any of those, please send them our way. We'd love to see them.
Yes, please.
Thank you, Gabby. That was awesome.
That was a lot of fun.
If you want to be like our friend Gabby here and share a dream or a dream story with us, you can do that by emailing us at remelations@gmail.com. We'll take your dreams, your catnaps, or any fun listener stories. We'd love to share them on an upcoming show.
Mindy!
Always cracks me up how you say that.
I'm sorry. Do you have a dream?
I feel like I'm getting cursed out, like yelled at by my mom.
Mindy! Where's your dream?
Mindy Lee,
get your dream up here right now.
Okay, I'm here. I never got in trouble. I was a good kid. You know that.
We were both good kids until later. Well, you stayed a good kid.
We try. Yeah, so I have a dream.
Okay.
This dream comes from Brianne from Dallas, Texas. She, her. So this is a celebrity packed dream, so I hope you're ready.
Oh my God. Okay.
Okay. And I'm going to share the title till the end because it kind of gives a little bit away.
Okay.
This kind of starts off a little bit sexy.
Oh, okay. We really liked our Dirty 30 episode.
I guess people are still on it. All right. So it starts. So I had this, okay, perfect start. Let's try that again.
Perfect start.
Rewind. Okay. So I had this lucid dream where I found myself in a very crowded house party. The house looked like it was a 70s swingers pad.
Nice.
I had half expected to see a bowl of keys.
What about an upside down pineapple?
On the porch, of course. Wait, what's with the bowl of keys? Is that like swingers just put their keys in the bowl?
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yes.
Please educate me. Please.
Okay, so it's like the guys or whoever drives put the keys in the bowl. Okay. And then let's say it's a male-female swingers party. Okay. The female will come up and just pick a set of keys and that's who she goes home with. Oh,
really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, learning new things every day. Okay.
Sexy times.
All right. She goes on to say, everything was orange, green, and mustard yellow.
Ooh, that sounds very 70s.
Ooh, yeah. There was a conversation pit with floor pillows. So there was some jangly funk music I couldn't quite make out. It was a strange mix of people. Some were elderly. There were some kids running around, and there were some folks who were gathered in groups playing instruments.
Oh, what an interesting thing.
Very eclectic start to this dream. Okay. I can picture it.
I hope this wasn't a swingers party.
I know, not with the grandma and grandpa there and some kids.
Well, grandma and grandpa probably have that shit figured out.
Oh, yeah. I mean, especially if they were around in the 70s.
They probably know better than we do how to live life, so more power to them.
Arriving at this weird house party, knowing I was in a dream, I was like, fucking sweet. I'm in a dream. I'm going to try to fly. So I love the fact she recognizes she's in a dream and she's going to try a lucid dream here.
I think that's amazing.
I attempted to fly, only to belly flop onto the shag rug. I heard someone laughing.
It was probably me.
It was probably Brooke. Of course Brooke would laugh at that. But guess who else was also laughing?
Who?
I looked up to see Bob Dylan sitting in an armchair with his guitar, laughing at me. He had seen the whole thing.
That dick.
And he was laughing. I got angry at Bob. I said, why are you laughing at me? This is a lucid dream. I'm supposed to be able to fly.
You tell him.
Bob, she's like, I'm not taking shit from Bob. I don't care who you are, Mr. Dillon.
I love how she calls him Bob.
I know, me too. Because normally if you say his name, you're going to say Bob Dylan, not just Bob.
Right? Yeah.
Bob continued laughing and said, and you can't fly, so it must be a lucid dream then, huh?
Oh!
So he's got the snark back.
Sassy. He's got a sass mouth?
Bob's smug attitude pissed me off.
Mm-hmm.
I asked, okay, Bob, if this... she wrote that in capital letters. Okay, Bob, if this isn't a lucid dream then, what is it? I know this isn't real life. He matter-of-factly told me, you're dead.
Oh.
Yeah. I said, that makes no sense. You're not dead, Bob. Why would I be here?
Okay. Well, that part doesn't track too well.
It doesn't.
Okay.
Yeah, I get her confusion. He told me as though it should be obvious. Time is relative. Maybe I'm dead by the time you got here. Maybe you've been dead for a while.
Wow, very existential.
Very deep, Bob. I was understandably frustrated. I knew this was a dream. Unless, no, it had to be a dream. And I couldn't let Bob convince me I was dead. I snapped at Bob. Oh, is this place supposed to be heaven?
She is not getting along with Bob.
She's got some snark, some hidden anger issues towards like just a peaceful hippie, you know? That's when...
No. Oh, no. What now?
Oh, God, you're going to love this one. That's when, from behind the minibar, Joan Rivers laughed and said, Heaven? If I'm here, they'll let anyone in.
That is so Joan Rivers.
And then she cackled at us as she disappeared beneath the minibar. She just popped up. All right, so Joan Rivers just makes a cameo in this weird lucid dream.
Much.
Oh my gosh, who doesn't?
I love her, yeah.
I'm sure she'd comment on what you're wearing as well.
She wouldn't be pleased.
She's like, this is way too much orange and green and mustard yellow. Please, let's move on. Let's move on past the 70s.
Yeah, she's not happy with the situation. No. I guarantee it.
Well, so next, Brianne says, I looked back over at Bob, who said to me, why do you assume you're in heaven or hell? Then, as though someone pulled the camera back to expand the frame, again, just like earlier, I could see Matthew McConaughey holding a guitar in the chair next to Bob. I was even more confused. I looked at Matthew. You're not dead either.
Wow. Okay, well, I don't know. I guess since Matthew McConaughey's alive,
we're going to have to.
We're going to have to go with that as our hashtag. What does Matthew McConaughey dream?
Please let us know, Matthew, please. Bud, Maddie, Matt.
Maddie
McConaughey. That's what I'm calling him.
Good old Maddie McConaughey. Remember him from kindergarten? Maddie McConaughey.
It sounds like the guy who served you at the English pub you went to yesterday. Hey, Maddie McConaughey. What would you like? Some fish and chips, say. Okay.
Fish and chips.
All right. So then it continues.
Oh my God.
Still going.
Okay. What's he doing? Is he just hanging out by himself?
So Matthew and Bob. So she said, Matthew, you're not dead either. Matthew looked at me calmly and said, no, I just came here to jam with Bob. He and Bob both ignored me and began playing their guitars together.
Well, that would be quite a sight to see, I must say.
Now, I believe Matthew McConaughey does play guitar. I think he's like a musical type guy.
Is he? He probably is. He seems like the type of guy that's probably like in some band or something.
Okay, so then she goes on. Then I felt someone grab my hand. It was a little kid in swim trunks and water wings.
This is a mishmash of people at this party.
They admittedly said, come outside and see the wave pool.
Okay.
Almost convinced I was dead, I was sad to see that there was a little kid there. And I told him, oh no, you're dead too? Oh. The kid just looked at me and rolled their eyes. With an exasperated tone, they said, no, they just let me come here to use the wave pool. Come on.
So funny. Just so like, no.
Like, nope, back to reality.
Just like you should be listening to Bob Dylan's cryptic messages. How do you know you're in heaven or hell? And this kid's like, no, I'm just here to use the wave pool.
I just got my swim trunks and my floaties.
They just let me come over on Sundays and use the wave pool.
So the kid pulled me out of the house through some sliding glass doors. And then the entire backyard of the house was a wave pool. And then she gives us the Schlitterbahn Water Park in New Braunfels, Texas. So very
what
specific.
Was that? Can you say that again?
The wave pool from Schlitterbahn Water Park in New Braunfels, Texas.
That's a lot to say.
That's
Good
a long
job,
name for a
Minnie.
water park.
That's
Really?
not good marketing, really.
I just call it the
I'm going to go to the
Schlitter water.
Schuber Boober Doober water park. It's
I hear
too
it's got a
much.
nice wave pool.
For swingers.
Is it a nude wave pool? Then I'm in. Who wants tan lines, please?
No thanks.
Okay. So then the kid said, come on, get in the pool. I was hesitant. I said, I don't have my swimsuit, and I might be dead. The kid rolled their eyes again and said, you never have your swimsuit. And then they dove into the wave pool and disappeared entirely. And that's when I woke up.
That's creepy. Maybe she is dead.
Maybe. We don't know. And here she puts a little bit at the end of the dream.
Okay.
I had this dream about 4 years ago, and I still cannot hear anything about Bob Dylan without being filled with existential dread.
Oh my God.
He is some sort of dream-walking trickster demon going from dream to dream, sowing chaos. Probably not, but I'm still going to skip any Bob Dylan songs when they come up on my playlist shuffle.
Yikes.
And that dream was from Brianne in Dallas. So thanks, Brianne, for sending it in.
Wow. Taking a strong stance to get B. Dylan there.
And I'm going to give her a little shout out because she does have a podcast, and it's called Today's Lucky Winner. And she says it's a chaotic, queer, supernatural comedy audio drama. So if you're into supernatural audio dramas, check out Today's Lucky Winner.
Sign me up.
Yeah,
for
sounds
that.
great.
That
Definitely.
seems like everything I would want and more.
Yes.
I thought it was going to be the I Hate Bob Dylan podcast.
Right? She's like over. She's like, I don't
She's
care.
over
what
him.
You're...
She is not pleased.
And going back, the title is
yeah.
Bob Dylan, Dream Walking Trickster Demon, is what she
Oh my
named her
God.
dream.
Yeah. If you, I don't know. I'd like to see what my reaction would have been if I had heard the title before the dream as opposed to after, but I'm glad you saved it.
Okay, good. That
But either
was
way,
fantastic.
it's a great dream, great
and
title.
so well
of a dream.
written, so thank you.
Yes.
Wow.
And
okay.
I do have a feeling Matthew McConaughey might respond more than like Bob Dylan.
I think
would.
Matthew McConaughey might be an alien anyway. So I think he's like one of those things. You know, you see those movies like Men in Black. You know, they come down and they'll really just take human form. And I believe Matthew McConaughey may be one of those. So
Okay.
I'm just saying, could be.
Wasn't Johnny Knoxville one of those in one of those movies?
I believe that too.
I love it.
So starting with the whole vibe of the dream, it's, you know, she mentions it as almost like a 70s swinger party, conversation couches. And of course, I'm going to get into like the colors.
I was going to say the colors spoke volumes in this dream, I think.
It does, because if you think of the three colors she mentioned, orange, green, and mustard yellow, total 70s vibe. But all those colors really play well together if you think about what they mean. So like orange, for example, could be positivity, happiness, and optimism. Yellow also lends itself to happiness, but also energy and intellect. And then green, right in between, is kind of like new beginnings, life, and hope. So I think those three colors together is a very positive symbol.
I agree. Even though it would look terrible in a kitchen.
God. Oh, I'm glad. Let's let that trend die in the past, please.
Don't you remember from that thing you do where he was describing the colors? He's like, white, cream, avocado. And I just think of that ugly green that's that avocado shade.
That's what I'm taking it as too, yeah. Like, I think my grandma or someone had chairs covered in like this avocado green that was just...
No, it doesn't. Not good.
I like green, not that much.
Yeah.
But again, the fact that it's like a swingers pad or it's got that like kind of swingers vibe, 70s. I mean, I just think chill. Like it's peaceful. Oh, yeah. I mean, total hippie, peaceful, chill vibe starting.
She even mentioned kind of like a sunken living room, you know, like with pillows and stuff. And I'm like, that's badass. I always thought those looked cool. Those like mid-century houses that had kind of a sunken living room, just like chill area. But fits the whole theme of what the image she's building.
Oh, completely. Have you ever been to the House on the Rock?
Oh my God, I love it so much.
Okay, so House on the Rock, for our bestie out there that isn't from the Midwest area, House on the Rock is, I would say, the trippiest museum you may go in. It's a museum. It's a house.
Yes.
Built on a rock.
It's a house on a rock.
That's the name of it.
Hence
That's
the
literally what it
name.
is.
So the house is not even the trippiest part because,
Right.
okay, so the house itself is built by a student of Frank Lloyd Wright.
Yes.
And it's just bizarre architecture. But
the reason I was thinking of it is because it has one of those sunken living rooms.
It does.
In it. It has a total creepy, weird vibe.
All carpeted, like wall to wall carpet.
Like a little conversation fireplace,
just room after room like that. It's a really fascinating place to visit. And then afterwards, there's just this museum that has just no rhyme or reason to it. It'd
just like someone want to like collect weird things and put it in a museum.
Here's dollhouses. Now here's tiaras. Now here's a giant merry-go-round with a gorilla. Like, I mean, it's just like, it's bizarre, but like you said.
You want to check it out.
Very trippy.
I'm sure they have a website. It's technically in Fountain City, Wisconsin. So you want to check it out? We took the kids there. We went back we kind of took like a mini vacation a couple years ago around, and we did a float down like the Wisconsin River, like a tube float, which was fun. But we also went to the House on the Rock. It was probably a really bad decision for me considering Mark is a little bit claustrophobic. I really didn't think of it at the time. Like, oh, this is cool. It's always been around, growing up. Yeah. But if you're claustrophobic, might not be the place for you. And then there's like 3 different parts of the museum. So here's a funny story. So you have to buy tickets to each part. So part 1, part 2, part 3. So
it's expensive.
It's not cheap, especially for that many kids.
Right. I was going to say.
So Mark and our youngest son are behind us. And I have our oldest son and all the girls with me.
You got the heavier load there.
Right? Well, I don't know. I think Mark had to carry, because he was younger, had to carry his son halfway through it.
Yeah,
so that's not easy.
Yeah.
So we get through part 1, part 2, and we're ahead of them. We never see them pass us. So we're waiting at the end of 2 to be like, okay, let's wait for them here, and then we can all continue on together, because we just got separated with the kids stopping to look at things.
Right.
Oh, but the funny thing is, I had all the tickets with me. So I'm like, there's no way they can get to part 3 because I have all the tickets. So we're waiting, and we don't see them. So we start backtracking through number 2, trying to find them. Can't find them. Go back to between 2 and 3. We have like some pizza and wait, and we're like, where are they? But the thing about this place is your cell phones do not work because it's like half underground in rock and tunnels and shit. So we have no way of communicating with each other where either of us is. So we're like, okay. So then we just decide to like walk out at 2 and never go in 3. Well, they must at some point have passed us, walked completely through. I don't know how it worked.
Clearly they did somehow.
So Mark's like, oh, I just told them that my wife was ahead of me and they let me through. I'm like, that was a bad like, I figured that was like our fail-safe. Like, I got all their tickets. They're not going to 3.
See, you're like, that was what I thought was my fail-safe. Now I'm thinking, next time I go, I'm going to be like, my husband's ahead of me with my kid and just try to get through every part of it without pain.
Half price. That would have been a better idea. Should have done that.
You probably passed each other without even really. But I mean,
realizing it's dark.
You're with a pretty good sized group yourself. You think they would have seen you, or someone would have seen them. We were like
lost for like an hour. We could not get a hold of each other. And then we're just like circling the parking lot. Like, are they going to go back to the car? Because like that's logically right. If you get separated,
you meet back
go back to the car.
Right.
But one of us had the keys. It was like awful. And
meet at the giant whale. Isn't there that big giant like full life size whale?
I think so.
Yeah. Meet at the whale if we get separated.
Don't rely on cell phones there. And cool, trippy museum if you're thinking of like 1970s weird vibe. This is the place you want to go to.
And they have an infinity room, which is awesome.
We'll have to post a picture of that on Instagram. We'll have to post a
picture. It just goes out. It gets smaller and smaller out over this rock. Like it's literally, you can kind of feel it move.
Glass. It's like
bottom.
an A-frame. It's like glass all around it. And you're just like kind of walking out over this like huge ass
valley,
like cliff. Like if it fell, you die.
And then at the very end, there's a window on the floor, so you can kind of look straight down. And
the kids did not make it that far. They were too afraid. We never made it to the end.
I love that part.
I'm fine for it, but they. Yeah.
Anyway, now I think they should give us some free tickets because they are expensive, and I'd like to take Chad sometime. He's never been, even though he's grown up here.
As long as he's not claustrophobic and you guys don't get separated, you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
I think we'll be just
2 adults. I think you can handle it.
Maybe.
So, anyways, getting back to Brianne's dream, just a cool vibe.
Sorry, poor Brianne.
Swingers pad. So peace. I'm thinking peace. A lot of good energy vibes and the colors. Then she's talking about like we've got the music going on and the guitar of Bob and Matthew are both hanging out around this little
Bobby and
conversation
Maddie.
area. Bobby and Maddie just hanging out. Just want to jam to the guitars. But, I mean, music is a form of expression, and especially in social situations.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always like, you think about grabbing a guitar and singing around a campfire. It's just
awesome.
It's a good social vibe.
It relaxes everybody. Very chill.
Yeah, I just see really good, positive feelings from this dream. And until we get to the part where, Bob says she's dead. But again, like, I think the positivity in this dream overtakes kind of this idea that she may be dead. And death doesn't always mean death.
Yeah, and I don't feel like it's negative, even if it is death. I don't feel like it's a negative death because she's clearly like at this party. These people know her. I mean, the little boy knows her.
I mean, how'd you get invited, first of all, is a question.
Right? Like, clearly she maybe is just new to it, death, and is adjusting, but clearly these people have been around. They know her. I mean, Bob Dylan's not dead, but,
Right.
It's
Joan
like,
Rivers is.
Joan Rivers is,
R.I.P.
and that little boy says he's not, but maybe is. I don't know. I don't feel like it's a bad thing, even if
No, I don't either.
Is on the other side. Like, it's still like you're invited to this fun part. I mean, Bob Dylan's a little snarky, but other than that, like,
well, she gave it right back, though.
She gave it right back. That's why I'm like, I don't think it's a bad dream. She stood up for herself. She took him on. No problem.
And, death can even also take on, like, it's the end of an era. It's an end of, something, a life change. So, like, is there something in your life recently that is the end of one era and perhaps a new beginning for you? It can be a time of, like, self-discovery. And so does it mean, like, you're discovering something new about yourself? And so it's categorized as death, like the new beginning, but maybe it's just a new beginning in general and changes in your life.
It's a rebirth.
And if I'm gonna die, I mean, why not hang out with them? It sounds like it'd be kind of fun.
I mean, it does, and Matthew McConaughey's not hard on the eyes too.
So, are you a Matthew fan? Are you a Maddie fan or no?
I am a Maddie fan
Because I think women can go either way.
Well, and it's weird because I guess as a woman, I do think he's attractive, but for me more than anything, I think he's a good actor. Like, to me, that I know he's seen as kind of like a silly, kind of really laid back, kind of pretty boy, but he actually is a very talented actor. You can see in a lot of his roles. Yeah. I'm impressed with his ability, but
I don't find him attractive. I'm on the other side. I'm like, I'll take. There's 100 celebrities I put before him that I would totally go in a photo booth with.
Oh, for photo booth activity, yeah. He wouldn't be my top. I don't think he's bad looking at all, but I do think he's just I appreciate him as an actor.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, I probably would go in a photo booth with him.
Who are you kidding? You'd go in a photo booth with Bob Dylan and Joan Rivers.
Only.
Have fun fitting. That might be a little
only
difficult.
if I got to keep the photos.
Oh, of course. You had to have the evidence.
I'd have to hang, and I'd like blow them up and hang them on my wall with pride. That's one kinky photo booth session. But
hell yeah.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so then the dream takes a fun kind of turn. She sees this kid. She's worried that he's dead. The kid's like, "No, I'm not dead. I'm just here to use the pool," which is like a lighthearted way to end this dream. Like, she's worried she's dead. Bob is telling her she's dead, but she's just like, this kid comes along and is like, "Hey, what's happening? Let's go to this wave pool." And water in dreams, from what I understand, it depends on what the water looks like. So is it murky water? Is it like clear water? And if it's a wave pool, I'm thinking it's like a clear, nice water.
Sure.
So I think that means a lot.
Dark water is scary.
Dark water is scary. Yeah.
Yeah.
But a wave pool, that's just nothing but fun.
Yeah.
And why waves? So why just not a pool? Why is it a wave pool?
Yeah, and who has a wave pool in their backyard?
Oh, yeah, sign me up.
Right? Like, not many. I mean, a lot of people have pools, but not many people have like a wave pool in their backyard.
If anyone's going to be Bob Dylan or Matthew McConaughey that have the money for it.
I guess maybe this is their like house they've built out of just
on a rock,
a house on a rock of childhood memories, like just their vision of what it was like growing up.
When I would fall asleep, I would just like open the bedroom window so I could hear the wave pool. So it just
it'd be like living at the beach.
It would. Okay, I'm gonna look into that.
Okay.
But anyways, wave pool. So waves, I think it's always coming. It's consistent, right?
It's the tide,
one after another. It's like always trying to knock you down, but then you can get back up. You have a chance to breathe. And it tries to knock you down. You can get back up and you have a chance to breathe. And so I feel like there's maybe challenges, but she's overcoming each of these challenges in her life so far. Like, okay, there's another wave. That's okay. I'm here. I'm ready for the next one. Speaking of waves, this is kind of bizarre. So I was in Chicago Friday evening for an engagement session.
Okay.
And the couple wanted to do pictures along the lakefront, like south of the city, which is called Promontory Point. So we go down there. The waves Lake Michigan is normally not very wavy, I would say, but sometimes if the wind picks up, you can have some decent sized waves.
Sure.
There was a guy out there surfing on Lake Michigan.
What?
I guess it's like, I'm like, why? There was waves enough for him to feel like he could go out there. He had a wetsuit on.
Why? I mean, he even has a surfboard readily available in Chicago.
Yeah, who has that, right?
To surf Lake Michigan.
I'm just watching him. I'm wondering, like, so they have like those little life rings like on the like, posted. I'm like, do I have to throw one in at some point? Because the waves were just crashing against these rocks on this break wall. I'm like, if he takes one of those waves into the break wall,
go right into the rock.
It made me so nervous.
It seems like a bad decision. I feel like
don't surf on Lake Michigan. It's not worth it.
It's not meant to be.
That's not where you should do it. Anyhow, so anyways,
where you should do it.
Back to ways, I think that is like overcoming things in her life.
Yeah, definitely.
But overall, I think there's positivity in the stream. I feel good vibes, and maybe it's just like letting go of dread or worry or any like leaving the past behind you almost.
Yeah,
and moving forward in this new era, this new after you die, this new like chapter of your life, to be happy and content with moving forward, because that's all the vibes.
Change is hard. Yeah, change is hard. So it takes time to figure all of that out. Yeah.
And I think, true happiness comes from being happy in your surroundings and who's around you, and who couldn't be happy, hanging out, jamming to some music. And maybe you should go back to letting Bob Dylan on your playlist. Maybe.
Yeah. Maybe that's something you have to address head on with Bobby.
With Bobby and Maddie.
Bobby and Maddie sitting in a tree.
Sitting on a conversation couch in a creepy old
SINGING.
I don't think that's singer.
Singing.
Gotcha.
Singing.
Got it. Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Brianne, for sending that in. We really appreciate that.
Yes, thank you, Brianne, for sharing. Hey, besties, if you're enjoying the show, as we hope you all are, there's lots of ways to support us, but you can go to remelations.com/support, and you can join our Sleepover Squad Patreon members, get extra special access to footage, just like our last week's episode.
Behind the scenes videos, extra dreams.
Behind the scenes video of our Dirty 30 episode. You get actual video footage, and we do release a special episode each month. And don't forget, the first 25 Patreon members get a one-of-a-kind Remelations t-shirt.
You're going to match me and Brooke, and that makes you completely amazing.
Cool.
Super
cool.
And then we'll wear them to House on the Rock.
Yes, and we'll see you there. We'll pick a day. Bring Bob Dylan.
Oh, no. And bring your swimsuit.
Yes, just in case there's a wave pool.
Cool.
I don't know why my eyes are watering so much. I didn't even laugh once at brunch.
because this is why we do it.
This is so much more fun.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I have a topic I want to talk about today.
Oh, I'm excited.
And it has to do with, are you getting enough sleep? Which,
no.
Brooke, are you ever getting enough sleep?
The answer is no. And Mindy, are you ever getting enough sleep?
Never, ever.
We have for very different reasons, though.
Yes.
You are just a busy mom and wife and own your own business. I just have insomnia.
So yeah, if you don't sleep like us, you're welcome to the club.
Well, welcome to the club.
It's not like I don't like sleep. I
love it. Just can't do it.
Don't get the chance as much often. I mean, I did sleep until like 9 today, so that was nice.
Wow, that's impressive.
It was nice. Yeah.
My problem is I can sleep. If I fall asleep, I can probably sleep for a while, but I never have that deep.
Yeah.
Like
deep sleep.
Recovery sleep. Like I never feel I had a good night's sleep.
Yeah. So depending on your age, there's a certain recommended amount of sleep you need to have. So if you're looking at according to the Mayo Clinic, if it's up to 12 months old, can nap and sleep up to 12 to 16 hours a day. Lucky children.
Up to 12-month-old.
1 to 2 years old, they typically recommend you get 11 to 14 hours of sleep, including naps. 3 to 5-year-olds. 10 to 13, including naps. Well, I don't know. My kids never really napped beyond 3. So 6 to 12-year-olds need about 9 to 12 hours. 13 to 18-year-olds need 8 to 10, which I disagree with because my teenagers
feel like they need
nap
more.
all the time.
I think they need more as a teenager.
Yeah. The other day, my daughter, or the older twin, got home from soccer practice, slept 3 hours, woke up for an hour, and then slept 12 more hours. I'm like,
I would die
those
for
days.
that.
Yes. Cherish it while you can, children.
No kidding. And all you kids fighting your naps, just give into a nap. You don't know how much you're going to miss them when
You're
you
gonna
can't
miss it.
have them.
But, and then as adults, we need at least 7 hours, but it goes down as you get older. So as you get into more of, 55, 60, 6 is usually about what you'll get.
6?
That's not enough. Yeah. What do you say you normally get a night?
Well, it's hard to say, Mindy, because it's never consecutively. It's
right.
like I might sleep from 11 to 1, but then I'm up from 1 to 4.
Yeah.
And then I might sleep like 4 to 7.
My mom's the same way. She'll like fall asleep in like her lazy boy chair
Yes.
for a good 2 hours in the evening, like from
Yeah.
7 to 9, and
Yep.
then be up from like 9 to 3,
Yep.
and then go back to sleep from 3 to 6. Like, I don't know how she does it.
It's not ideal. Like, I
No.
mean, it's just kind of like how it happens. Otherwise, the other option is to not fall asleep. And I've been really enjoying, actually, maybe I'm becoming, just embracing my spinsterhood. I've been really enjoying falling asleep on my couch lately, which does have, it's, the feet will recline out and it goes almost all the way to a laying position. And for whatever reason, I've been falling asleep very well on that. But of course, now my couch breaks right when I'm finding a great way to fall asleep. So it goes, and it just stops. So you're like in some weird, awkward position.
Well, it's more dangerous to sleep in your living room on the couch, because if someone breaks into your house, they're going to kill you right away. So don't sleep on your couch.
They have to go 5 further feet to find me in my 1-bedroom apartment from the couch to the bed.
They're like, no, I'm not going to open that door. There's no jewelry or money in there.
And all it is a curtain. I don't even shut the door because
doors.
The cats have to be able to get in and out to use their litter box.
It's
I don't have any
dangerous, though.
doors.
It's dangerous.
Anyone that gets in my place is going to get me no matter where I am.
That's a terrifying thought. Yeah, let's not go down that sad idea.
Oh my God. You're cracking me up.
We're talking about how much sleep you need. But here's an interesting story. I don't know if you've ever heard the story of Randy Gardner.
Remind me.
So in 1963, he broke the world's Guinness record for staying awake the longest.
That's so dangerous. Oh my God. I don't even have a guess because you can literally like lose your mind.
You can. And so I'm going to tell you the story about
Okay.
Randy Gardner and why he chose to stay up for so long.
I'm so nervous for Randy.
Okay, so this article, there are a couple sources I wanted just to shout out. NPR's Hidden Brain podcast, Shankar Vandatam did an interview with Randy Gardner.
NPR.
Also, IFLSCIENCE.com, and an article by Sarah Keating in 2008 on BBC.
Oh, love the BBC too.
We'll link to those in the show notes.
Yes.
So, up until 1963, the world record for going without sleep was held by a DJ in Honolulu.
Oh my God.
You look terrified. Your face is like complete like blank stare at me right now. You're like,
I really didn't know. I know from personal experience, having been up for a few days, like you start to get sick.
you lose your mind.
You lose your mind. Like literally, like you need that downtime for your body to rest and your brain to rest. So, wow.
Let's talk about Randy Gardner. His family was a military family. He was the oldest of 4 kids. In 1963, he moved to San Diego when he was 17. And he was a self-proclaimed science nerd.
Okay.
So when the region did their science fair, he decided it would be fun to learn how long you can go without sleeping.
So he tested it on himself.
Well, he had this idea. So him and another friend,
Okay.
his other friend's name was Bruce, they decided to flip a coin.
Shit. Oh, Randy lost that coin toss.
Randy
sure
lost
of it.
the coin toss. He did. But he was happy because it was kind of his idea, and he was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I want to be the one who's going to go ahead and try. Let me just step in here and be like, where were the parents?
Yeah, who was watching over this science project?
This is an off. Let's pick like germinating pansies or something.
And also, where are the teachers? They're like signing up. Randy, that sounds like a great project.
This is 1967. Like they don't care. They don't care. They're out smoking in the back.
Randy, why don't you take some acid and weed while you're on this little trip and see what happens?
Mom and Dad are at the swingers party. They're like, we'll be back.
They're like, Mom and Dad took the upside down pineapple. I don't know when they're going to be home. I think I've got days or more.
Days. I just don't understand why the parents are like, okay, this is a great idea, but nonetheless.
They sign off on that permission slip. Yep. Go ahead, Randy.
Looks good. Teachers are like, sounds like I want to know what happened, sir. Let's do it. So anyway, Randy lost the coin toss. And so his friend Bruce was supposed to be there to help make sure he's awake.
Oh, no.
But this becomes a problem, right? Because Bruce started getting tired as well. So they had to recruit a third friend to help, and that was Joe. So Joe and Bruce then would become stay on rotations to make sure that our friend Randy did not fall asleep.
They were the awake person to make sure Randy stayed awake. And they took turns sleeping.
Yeah, they took turns sleeping. So they were well rested, but Randy was the one who was not allowed to sleep.
Oh, God. How were they documenting all of this? Were they taking
this had to be notes because it wasn't, there are some pictures. There are no videos from what I found in my research, but some 1970s or 60s black and white photos, there were a few.
Yeah.
So according to Randy in this interview, the first 2 days were easy. Mm-hmm. He said he stayed awake by staying away from beds and standing up as much as possible. What's the longest you've gone without sleep, would you say?
At least 3 days. I mean, just recently I was awake for 2 days straight when I was trying to figure out this way to get home from my trip stuff. And then you don't sleep on the plane. And so I know that sounds like a different way of not sleeping, but it's still not sleeping. No. And then
that's too long.
I've had insomnia pretty badly my whole life, but I would say it could be probably as much as 4 days.
Wow.
And you just, nothing makes sense anymore.
Yeah.
Like you're so tired, you want to sleep. Your body's tired, your mind's tired, and you just can't fall asleep. And everything is painful. How about you?
I would say maybe no more than 2 days. When I was in college, I had a big project due, end of semester thing that I stayed up 24 hours. I mean, I stayed up all day to do it, all night. So I think maybe 2 days at maybe a day and a half, maybe 2 days. It was not anything beyond that. And I could tell I was going nuts.
It's rough. It is rough on your brain, your mental health, and your physical health. It really is.
So according to Randy, on day 3, things became difficult. He would have a hard time identifying things by touch. He was more moody. He had difficulty performing tongue twisters, which they're just sitting around like, okay, say this one, Randy. Sally sells seashells by the seashore. Okay, now you try.
Butter made some butter, but the butter was too bitter.
Exactly. Like, really? That's, you guys, I guess they had all this time to try to kill. So they're like, let's try some tongue twisters.
I'm like, let's do some Mad Libs.
I would totally be up for that. Let's go to the
Do you know what a noun is, Randy? Are you too tired? How about an adjective?
Also, day 3 is when he started becoming very nauseous.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
Here's where he found eating any citrus, like tangerines, helped with the nausea and made him feel a little better.
Usually citrus upsets your stomach a little bit.
I would think so. Worked for Randy.
Well, Randy, whatever works for you, bud.
He also said eventually, after day 3, things started to slip. So he began forgetting things. He said it almost felt like early Alzheimer's.
Absolutely.
And he said, but the things they would do to try to stay awake, they would play pinball and basketball. His friends would prevent him from lying down and make him... I liked this part of it. They would make him talk through the toilet door whenever he went to the bathroom in case he was tempted to take a sneaky toilet nap.
Sneaky toilet nap. Totally the title of our episode.
Sneaky toilet nap. Yes, it has to be. So there's like, Randy, okay, it's been too long. Time to flush. Let's get out of here.
Randy, are you taking a sneaky toilet nap?
So I thought that was a funny part of the story.
I just think it's just such a step in, like they're trying to make him stay awake. And it's like, I sit there going, I'm trying to fall asleep.
Right, totally opposite.
Totally opposite. But I've been on that day 3. I've been on that day 4. I know what that horrible roller coaster ride is like. Whether you want it or not, it's happening.
Yeah. So going on. Then around day 4 or 5, a sleep researcher heard about this experiment he was doing. So he drove in from Stanford University. His name was William Dement. And Randy's parents were relieved. They're like, oh, well, at least it's a professor here to watch my kid.
How did they even find out about this?
I'm not sure. I'm sure maybe by this, well, if I'm guessing, I'm just guessing here. Maybe newspapers were starting to cover at this point, or radio stations to say, hey, this is a science experiment.
Hey, this kid's doing this. Yeah.
Yeah. So William came. Randy's parents were relieved because the question to this date was still unresolved whether or not you could go without sleeping long enough that you would die. Because at that time, experiments on animals, such as cats, I'm sorry, you might want to close your ears for this one. Cats were kept awake for 15 days, at which point they died. So there was some... Brooke literally took her headphones off. Okay, I can put them back on. So that they didn't know what would happen to humans.
All set?
Welcome back. Yep. Okay, we passed the thing that you did not want to hear.
Okay.
So William came. He rented a convertible. They drove around town.
I love that he rented a convertible.
Right, San Diego. I totally cruise around San Diego in a convertible. Are you kidding me?
Such an important detail of this.
I picture it being red, a candy red convertible. In 19th. Oh,
is there any other kind? Maybe it was avocado.
Maybe it was avocado. Oh my God! Yes, please, an avocado with green paint, avocado paint, and orange and yellow
like
interior.
That golden interior.
Sign me not up. Okay.
Unless it's free.
So to keep him awake and kind of observe things, they, rode around this convertible. They did things to keep him awake, like play basketball. But when night hit, it was always the hardest because there was nothing open. There was nothing they could go do. The researcher, Dement, did notice that if he did close his eyes, the sleep would sink in almost immediately within seconds. So they just had to immediately just keep his eyes open. Otherwise he would fall
jealous.
asleep.
Bottle up that.
Yes.
Whatever that is that's making him fall asleep instantly. I'll take a sip.
According to Randy, on day 4, that's when the memory lapses and his first hallucinations began. He remembered imagined he was a famous black football player, Paul Lowell, from the San Diego Chargers. And his friends thought this was funny because poor Randy was only 130 pounds, and there's no way he would be the size of a football player. But in his mind, he hallucinated he was.
Let him have it. He's been without sleep. Let him have that little dream there.
On day 5, he had another hallucination that he was seeing a forest pathway in front of his house where his house was actually standing. And it was not a forest, it was his house. And so he remembered that.
Okay.
And then according to Randy, in his own words, quote, "After that point, everything basically went in the toilet. There were no more highs, just lows and lower lows. It was like someone was taking sandpaper to my brain. My body was dragging along okay, but my mind was shot." That was after day 5.
Oh my God, that's a perfect way to explain it.
It is perfect way.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It's torture. It really is.
After that, for the next, few days, and as the experiment went on, things just continued to worsen. His speech slowed. He began to slur. He would forget words. He would start sentences without being able to finish with what he couldn't even remember the beginning of the sentence when he got halfway through the sentence.
Sometimes that's me just by late afternoon.
Right? That's like if I don't have a Red Bull in the morning, I'm like, huh? But I did find it funny. The one thing he did enjoy doing to stay awake was play ping pong, and he did that quite well.
Wow. Okay. Well, maybe he learned a new talent during this whole experiment.
Ping pong. Yeah. On the last day, his friends said he was expressionless. He had constant prompting in order to respond to questions, and he had a slurred monotone voice.
Doesn't surprise me. Plus, I bet he wasn't eating or drinking well either. It's like,
how could you?
You have no appetite when you've been up for days or anything like that. It's like everything starts to just deteriorate.
Everything. But the mind is the first to go, it seems.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So at 2 a.m. on January 8th, 1964, he broke the world record by not sleeping for 11 days and 25 minutes.
What? Oh.
So he at that time was immediately taken to the Naval Hospital, and they attached electrodes to his head to monitor his brain waves as he finally was able to sleep.
Wow. And did they come up, how were they normal after that long of not sleeping?
Well, I'm going to, let's take a guess here. Do you want to guess how long he slept for once he was allowed to sleep?
32 hours.
14.
Oh, I was way off.
But he said one of the reasons he felt like he woke up is the fact he had to go to the bathroom.
That's probably true.
They should have just put a catheter and let the poor goddamn guy sleep.
I mean, he probably wouldn't have even noticed at this point. And they're like, dude, just go to sleep. Sleep.
Just pee the bed. It doesn't matter.
You're fine. Just let it go. We're capturing it for you.
Researching the data that came from those electrodes, it said his percentage of REM sleep that night skyrocketed. It was beyond what they normally see on any one person's 14-hour sleep cycle.
Wow.
And they said after the next night, it dropped down to normal and everything was completely fine after that.
Just one night of really good sleep and then he was back on track?
Yeah. Randy said, I quote, "I remember when I woke up, I was groggy, but not any groggier than a normal person. And surprisingly, then he said, I didn't need any extra sleep. I was back to regular mode."
That's what you get for being a high school kid. That's for sure.
Yeah, try doing it at our age.
Most people would not recover this easily. Wow. No. 11 days. So that's 11 days is the record, huh? Just over 11 days.
Exactly. And according to all those results that they took, they sent them off to Arizona to be studied. And they said that the results concluded that his brain had been catnapping the entire time. So like parts of his brain would shut down in sleep while other parts would be awake. So even though his eyes were awake and open, parts of his brain would literally turn off in sleep during this 11 days.
Because you can't live without some kind of rest.
Right. The same effect was later seen in rat experiments where here we go, let's get a little nerdy science here, where subsets of cortex neutrons switched off at the sleep-deprived rats continued about their business awake.
Now, what kind of, I mean, you probably haven't gone this in-depth, but what kind of effect would drugs have on this? Like, say, it wasn't just up naturally, like up on, like, meth or cocaine or something like that. Like, I wonder,
what do they call those?
Uppers?
Yeah, but there's a word.
Stimulants or amphetamines?
Yeah. Amphetamines, yeah.
Like,
I don't know that.
Because I bet scientifically there have probably been people on drugs up longer than 11 days. But they're not the ones that are getting cooked to electrodes. I would be interested in their brain activity, though, because they're not only like not sleeping, but they're continually doing damage at the same time. Like,
right, true.
Oh my gosh, that's scary.
All right. Well, I'll give you this to end with.
Okay.
If you want to guess, in the Greater San Diego Science Fair, what place did their science project come in?
First!
You'd hope, right? You'd hope it'd be first place. It was 10th.
Oh,
boo.
Bummer.
Right?
Does that even get a ribbon? That's like a hefty handshake.
Go home.
Like,
that's awful.
Glad you enjoyed your 14-hour nap after your 11 days of torture.
Right? Randy sit here and did this whole experiment. And you know what? He'll forever hold the title of Guinness Books World Records because they've gone away with the category because of the severe health issues due to lack of sleep. So he will forever, even though he did not win the science fair, jerks, he will remain the Guinness Book of World Records champion.
Go ahead, Randy. I hope you're not still playing around with that. I hope.
Well, he said, I'm sorry, finish your thought.
No, that was it. I was just hoping this was a one and done for him.
But unfortunately, in 2007, he did mention he kind of stopped sleeping. He could not sleep, and he has a lot of insomnia in his later years of life, and he blames it on his teenage stunt. He says, sleep is as important as food and water. Let those be the big three: food, sleep, and water.
It's true. And
Randy.
Air.
Wow. And air. Brooks adding to your list, Randy.
Top 4.
Shelter, clothing. I mean, come on. Where do you want to draw the line?
I don't know. I think eating, sleeping, drinking, and breathing are pretty important.
Yeah, I agree. So that's the story of Randy Gardner and the forever encased story of the Guinness Book of World Records, days gone without sleep.
I'm clapping, but I am sorry that it has created future problems for you.
I mean, you think about it. I mean, even in wartime situations, the amount of, World War I, World War II, how the sleep-deprived soldiers were and how they use that as, tactics against prisoners, keep them sleep-deprived.
Sleep deprivation is such a torture tactic, but then also to keep, military on certain drugs and like amphetamines like that, so they stay awake, so they can fly, so they can do certain things. It's like
dangerous.
It's so dangerous. It's just hurting on top of hurting on top of hurting your body. It's crazy.
Do not fuck with sleep.
Nope.
Everyone needs sleep.
And that's why we're here.
That's why this
we need
podcast
you to sleep.
exists.
We need you to dream so we can be here for you.
And that's the question. And if Randy Gardner is still alive, I would love to reach out and know if he has any dreams, or if he had any dreams that during that next cycle of his sleep cycle. So
yes, because we need to reach out to him ASAP.
According to Wikipedia, he's still alive. So I'm going to say hashtag, what does Randy Gardner dream?
Hey now, I want to hear it.
I would love to know if he remembers any of dreams from that 14 hours he slept?
14 hours.
I would love to know if he remembers any of those dreams. Would love to know.
I think he's a scientific dude. He probably wrote stuff down.
I would think so. I see him having a dream journal.
Oh, I bet he does.
And on the front, it's got a picture of that avocado that convertible on it.
Memories, my avocado convertible.
So how was your week?
My week has been very interesting. It's good and bad. It's good in all the right ways. My new job is great. The people there are great, but it's just so stressful learning a new job, and just everything from acronyms to terminology to it's just worst. So much to learn. But I knew that going in, and every new job is like that. So it's just a matter of you want to get your hands in there and be good at it already. So it's just stressful. But again, it's a great place and everyone's really wonderful. So I know it's going to work out. But how was your week? Anything fun and exciting?
We shot a wedding and we decided not to eat there because we thought it was rat infested.
Nice.
Yeah. So we're like, we're good. We'll eat something on the way home.
What
so that was interesting.
Did you see a rat?
We saw signs.
Like droppings?
Yeah. Oh. The couple paid good money for us. I mean, everything was beautiful. Just the venue. We shot there maybe 3-4 years ago, and it was fine. It just new owners. The son had took it over from his dad. He had all these ideas of how he's going to make it better. That we get there, it looks like he's living in the basement. Ants on the windowsill, and one window was leaking with rain. And I'm like, I didn't even look in the kitchen.
Were the guests commenting? Like, could you hear murmurs?
No. Just like the ballroom was fine. Like it looked like a ballroom. But Mark and I look at each other. We're like, we're not eating here.
Where'd you eat afterwards?
we stopped at this place that we had nachos and it took a long time and it wasn't that great. So
I was hoping you'd say Portillo's. I'm like, that makes every evening better.
No, things are good. I am enjoying the nice weather. I was doing yoga the other day, and I sometimes do it in Mark's office, and the plant fell off the shelf for no reason at all. It was just kind of haunted and weird.
So is your house haunted?
I've never felt that this house is haunted.
I've
but
never
I was
heard
just,
you mention it, but that's kind of weird.
2 plants, not just one. 2 plants fell off of like this shelf.
At the same time or 2 separate times?
At the same time. So it's probably just me, but
that's so
odd. Like a very weird.
You've done yoga in there before, I assume.
Yes, plenty of times.
So it's not like you bumped anything.
No, I did not bump anything. But I was also drunk. It was drunk. So it could have bumped it and just did not know.
Oh my god, you almost I just choked.
So I've been on this thing since the first of the year. I've been trying to do a workout every day, and sometimes it's like a run, sometimes it's weights, sometimes it's yoga, sometimes it's abs. It's like just a 10-minute workout every day, no matter what. Yeah. And so at the end of the day, and it was like 11 o'clock at night, and I had some wine, and I was like, I'll just go and do yoga. And so it was drunk yoga. And so it could have just probably been me, but it was weird. I was a little creeped out.
I don't know. Let's stay on top of this.
Oh, I did take a picture of it, and I will send it to you.
Okay, yeah.
Because it is weird how it landed like on this like window blind, just weird, perfectly. Anyways.
Yeah, let's stay on top of this because that would be very interesting if after all these years, all of a sudden,
so there's a haunting.
Yeah,
I would doubt that, but
you never know, though.
Other than that, it's being the holiday weekend, and when this comes out for our bestie, just wrapped up Memorial Day weekend here in the States. Anything besides family game night dinner tonight?
Nope, it's been pretty uneventful, which is kind of nice. You know, having a long weekend where you don't really have any plans. And yeah, it kind of sucks to just have to catch up on adulting stuff.
Yeah,
but
right.
Stuff needs to get done, so I'll take it.
Got a pile of laundry to fold myself.
Yep.
I was supposed to have an engagement session on Monday, but the groom has COVID, so that's canceled.
Shit.
So, but now I have my Memorial Day weekend, so
that's
yay me.
True. Yay. So what are you going to do tonight? Stay up late?
Nothing tonight.
Not sleep and not sleep tomorrow night and not sleep
right. Just keep it up for 11 days.
Let's see if Minnie can take over.
No, let's not do that. We have a butcher that's by us that is awesome. Like old school butcher. Like they have they're slicing everything back, like the deli counter. They're so great. And so we went up to this butcher. It's like a good half-hour drive, but it's worth it. And so we got some prime cowboy steak to throw on the grill tonight.
Oh, yum.
It's going to be delicious. So I'm excited for dinner.
That sounds yummy. Well, that'll be good.
And then tomorrow, I think we're going to our niece's house to have like a cookout.
Oh, well, perfect. I hope the weather stays nice for you. I think it was supposed to be nice here today, but it's
supposed to be like 90 tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to be hot tomorrow. So I think a lot of people might be out and about tomorrow.
Here's something funny. So I woke up the other day. This was probably like a week ago. And Mark goes, "What did you dream last night?" And I go, "What do you mean? What do I dream last night? I didn't remember my dream. Like I do most time, but I didn't that night." And he goes, "You were yelling in your sleep." I go, "What? Yelling?" He's like, "No, you were straight out yelling." He's like, "You didn't make sense. None of them were words that made sense together, but you were just yelling in your sleep."
I love this story.
And I was like, "What?" I was like, "You should have recorded me." And he's like,
"Why didn't he? He should know better."
I know, right? It would have been perfect for the podcast. But I think he was just, it was the middle of the night or right when he was waking up, and he was like confused himself and just couldn't find his phone. But I guess I was taking out some frustrations in the middle of the night, yelling, which is so unlike me.
From him, like, what kind of yelling was it? Just like, ah! I was like, Rrr!
No, it was anger yelling.
Angry
yelling?
yelling?
I asked, because I'm like, was I scared? Was it scared yelling, screaming? He's like, no, it was like angry, like you were yelling at someone.
It was, but like gibberish, like, ah!
Exactly. So, yeah, I told him next time I do it, please record so we can share on the show.
That's a good Patreon video. Midgie screaming in her sleep.
We can just put the audio file. You don't need to see me.
No, I want to see the video.
Drool. Okay, besties. If you've enjoyed this show, we'd love to hear from you. We'd also like if you tell one of your best friends. You can tell your bestie about the show. You can tell the man you're making out with in the photo booth. Anyone on the boardwalk, of course.
Of course.
You can also tell your favorite musicians at a swinger party about this podcast.
In a sunken living room.
Because that's how we grow. That's how we come back every week to share our crazy listener dreams with you. And if you keep telling more friends, we get to keep doing this each and every week. Oh, and a shout out to all of our new followers on Apple Podcasts. I just saw we just gained like 5 more followers this week on Apple Podcasts. So thank you for following us. That's you. We love you. And don't forget to submit a dream.
Mwah. And a special thank you today to Gabby and Brianne for sharing their dreams. We had a great time. Keep them coming.
All right. We can't wait to be back with you again next week when we read more listener dreams. But until then,
sweet dreams, bitches.